Halloween Horror Nights 34 speculation season is on. Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Halloween Thrills back with another video, and that is right, Horror Nights 34. It's time. We have our very first speculation map from our buddies over at Horror Night Nightmares. It has been a long time coming for this speculation map. We had the little teaser around Christmas time, and then we have just been waiting and waiting and waiting. A lot of speculation has come out since then. Not a lot, enough for really me to cover, but today with this speculation map, we are finally going to break down our first true speculation for this year's Halloween Horror Nights event. Now, before we get anything, please make sure that you are subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you're following both Instagram and X. The links are down in the description below. And also make sure you're following Halloween Horror Night or Horror Night Nightmares over on Blue Sky, X, Discord, Instagram, all that stuff. They have a ton of cool stuff going on over there with these speculation maps, so you don't want to miss out for future releases. But now, without further delay, let's get into speculation map version 1 for Halloween Horror Nights 34. So as always, kicking this off for this map, we're gonna start all the way up in the front, work our way back towards, through Production Central towards New York, and then we're gonna wrap around through New York, past San Francisco, and then back around through the parade tents, or not the parade tents, just the regular sprung tents. But we're gonna start off at the front of the park with Soundstage 23A. So now we have little logos for each of these as always, and our first logo starting us off today is going to be a little ship sail and mast with a couple little waves. Now I will say all of these, we do not have specific logos specifying whether these are originals or IPs, so I will be taking the liberty throughout this video to kind of guesstimate which logos I think are for what. And with this first logo in particular, I am thinking that this is going to be for an original. Now, the reason I think this is an original is because we do not have something matching over in Hollywood, and Hollywood and us normally tend to have shared IPs. So I think this is more or less going to be an original. Now this will kind of be a recurring theme as I figure out which ones are which on this map. But let's talk about this first logo. Like I said, it's that pirate, or that ship mast and sail with those waves. Now, all I can really think about with this is two things. One would be my personal hope for this, and then the other is what I am thinking is more likely going to happen with this one. The first one being what I want is a pirate themed house. I love pirates in horror, and I think that something like that at Halloween Horror Nights would do a great job. I don't think, off the top of my head, I don't really think we've ever had anything that just screams pirates. So I would love to see something like that come to the event. But like I said, the other option here is what's more likely coming to the event, and that is going to be some sort of Viking-based original. We have had Vikings at the event previously. The last time we saw a sort of Viking was at just last year's event in the Museum Deadly Exhibits, where we had that little section of Norse mythology and Vikings. And prior to that, the last time I think we had it was at HHN 29 with the Vikings Undead Scare Zone there in Central Park. So I think more or less with those two sections being so well received, I think that it's finally time that a Viking house does come to the event in a full entirety. So like I said, this one makes the most sense having a Viking house for this year's event. But let's move on to our next spot, and that is the entrance right there at the main stage in Production Central. This is for Soundstage 22. And this is what I'm going to believe is our first IP of this map. And the logo for this one is just a little thumbs up. And for those who may know, for those who don't, I will kind of break this down for you. The thumbs up, as many people will know, is relating to the Vault Boy from Fallout. Fallout has been thrown around with different rumors. I actually even speculated myself of us getting some sort of Fallout-based house at the beginning of the year in January. So will this be related to the video games or the TV show? I'm not entirely sure. Personally, I would love to see a Fallout New Vegas style house, as that's one of my favorite parts of that game franchise. That's one of my favorite games from that franchise. But with the popularity of the TV series and with the season 2, I believe, coming out soon, whether that be this year or early next year, I feel like this would be a perfect time for Universal and Horror Nights to capitalize on that with Fallout coming to this year's event. Now, people may be thinking, okay, how does Fallout really fit into the horror genre? And I understand, it really doesn't. It doesn't really fit into the horror genre. There is a couple monsters here and there that are a bit terrifying that you could count as that. And I feel like there's enough where we could build a very relatively scary, jump-scary house for Horror Nights that does appease the fans. But let's just move on to our next stop. This is the entrance there at the Fallon Queue. And this one is for Soundstage 23B, so the other half of Soundstage 23. And this logo is the 5 little panel film reel with some weird goo dripping from it, whether that be blood, just green ooze, or I'm not entirely sure what exactly is dripping from that, but we can only make a couple assumptions based on this. Now, there are a couple things that people are throwing out about this. One in particular that I have seen is the people thinking, oh, maybe the director will be returning and this will be an icon house. My only issue with that is what I had mentioned earlier. Most of our IPs are going to be shared on both coasts, and we really don't share originals with Hollywood during the same year. Let me preface that, during the same year. So I don't see this being an original because it is on Hollywood's map as well. So this will more than likely be another IP. Now, there have been rumors of us getting a slasher, and with film reels and a little slice through it with some blood, I could see this being our slasher movie. Now, personally, there have been different rumors of 2 different franchises. One in particular I'm going to put at this one rather than one that's a little bit later, because there is a logo that a lot of people have been referencing another slasher for that could possibly fit there, but I think another idea fits a little bit better. But the 2 options that people are talking about for this one are the 2 slashers that have been talked about the most. Number 1 being Scream. And the 5 film panels are making people think that this is going to be particularly for Scream 5. And then the other option that a lot of people are talking about is the possibility of Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees finally coming back to the event for the first time since 2015. Personally, either sounds good to me. I'm fine with either. I am a huge fan of slasher films, so regardless, I would be happy with either of those options. Personally, though, I think it's finally time that Ghostface comes to the event. I think the last time we had him was a part of the All Night Die-In Take 2 house, and we really need a full Ghostface Scream house, so I feel like Scream 5 fits the best here in this spot. Now let's move on to our next section, which is that back left corner of New York, and I believe this one is the logo that is kind of like a weird ring with what look like wings and like a city skyscape inside of that ring with a weird skull on the top with some horns. A lot going on with this logo, not a lot to really think about. It's just all over the place. Now, I did a little bit of thinking. This is actually the second time I've had to record this because I thought more about it after I had recorded this entire video. And my idea that I had kind of fit with a previous original that we did have, and because this doesn't match up with anything on Hollywood's map, I do believe this is going to be an original in this location. And a lot of the thoughts that I have with this is those wings look like angel wings, or at least tattered angel wings, which leads me to believe maybe this is going to be some sort of fallen angel style original, or like an Angel of Death style original. And after I recorded this whole video and thought about it, I was like, we have had something like that before. and that was at 2017 HHN 27 with The Fallen, which was like a post-apocalyptic world where angels have fallen from the heavens and have gone into an endless war against the demonic uprising from hell, and you were just stuck in the middle of it. Now, do I think The Fallen will return for this house? It's a possibility. Could we see The Fallen return in some sort of house for this? I know a lot of people are big fans of that original house back in 27, so could we see them return? Who knows, but I think that fits the most in this section, and it does give us a bit of a returning original idea. Now, moving on to our next spot, which is for Soundstage 25. This is that other logo that I was talking about that a lot of people think is for Scream. And this is that magnifying glass with a ghost like logo inside of it. A lot of people are thinking the ghost symbols ghost face, and the magnifying glass is for Spyglass, which is the production company that produces the most recent Scream films, being 5 and 6. Now, I understand that sounds spot on, but we have to think. A spyglass is completely different than a magnifying glass. A spyglass is more along the lines of like a telescope, so this doesn't really fit in that, which is why I think we may be getting something maybe along Legendary Truth or Case Files. But like I said, going back, this is listed on Hollywood's map as well, so it's more than likely going to be an IP, which leads me to my other idea and a more likely IP for this being Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo has been mentioned numerous times over the last couple years on surveys following the event, asking people what they would like to see come to Horror Nights, and the Mystery Inc. logo is literally a magnifying glass with a ghost in it, or with the little question mark in it. I mean, it's written in the stars, to be honest. I finally think we are going to get Scooby-Doo, whether that be one of the 2 live-action films or even the countless years of Hanna-Barbera animated film or animated movies / TV shows that we got for Scooby-Doo. I don't care. Bring Scooby-Doo to the event. I want to see Blackbeard. I want to see the Black Knight. I want to see, sorry, not Blackbeard, Redbeard. I want to see Redbeard, the Space Kook. I want to see all of the monsters of Scooby-Doo, and I want to see the gang kind of trapping them all up, unmasking all of them. It would be a hilarious house that also would have some good scares if you really get those costumes looking real nice. But let's move on to something that is more along the lines of being kind of really on the nose. Let's talk about Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is a surveillance camera, and if there is one IP that has been rumored over and over again for the last couple years, it definitely fits this logo, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, surveillance cameras are a big part of that game series and that entire franchise, so this makes sense, and Blumhouse has been known to really like that Fast and Furious location. Now, there is a possibility of this being the game, but Scott Cawthon, the creator of the game, has went on record numerous times saying that he does not want something like this, and he is very he's a very like stickler about where he wants his IP used. But Blumhouse, on the other end, with their movie and now a second movie coming out soon, they're probably just willing to throw this out anywhere. So I think that is more than likely going to be the film rather than the video games, which don't care. Give me Five Nights at Freddy's at the event. I'll be happy. Like I said, this one looks more on the nose than anything else on this entire map. But let's move on to the sprung tents. So we have tent number 3 as our first stop here. This is one of the 2 new tents from last year. And this logo is a book with some snowflakes on it. Now, there's not a lot of ideas of what this could be. I tried to think about it a little bit. Now, the thing that I kind of went back to was our original speculation with our teaser map, as well as the little names that we got given, the code names for all of the houses and the permits. And there was something that I didn't find previously on this map when looking that I think still may come to the event this year. And that is when we were originally thinking about Wicked or the Path of the Wicked coming to the event as a house. And I think this one in particular fits, as we have the snowflakes possibly being the poppy spores from the Wizard of Oz, and then we have the book being Scary Tales. Scary Tales, the last time it was at the event was in 2017 at HHN 27 with Scary Tales Deadly Ever After, and it has been quite some time since we've seen the storybook reopen and telling a twisted tale. So I would be interested in seeing Scary Tales coming back. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of it back in 27, but if we have something either related to Wicked for this or Wizard of Oz in general for this, I'd be on board. Or if those snowflakes do not actually relate to that and they just relate to like a wintry theme for Scary Tales, I'd be on board for that as well, because put any haunted house in a winter setting and I love it. But let's move on to tent number 4, which has the trash bag logos. Now, a lot of people think there's two sides to this coin. Number one, people think that maybe Horror Night Nightmares is just referencing this IP being trash, like it's a bad IP, or it's actually referencing something from the actual film, which is more than likely. And the reason I say film is because this logo is also, of course, on Hollywood's map. So we think about what rumors have been speculating or has been circulating recently, and where could we go with this? There is one in particular that we can talk about, and that is Terrifier. Art the Clown loves carrying around a big black trash bag to basically put all the body parts in and just store a bunch of stuff. He just loves walking around with that big black trash bag, and most people, as well as myself, think that that is what this is relating to. I love it. I'm here for it. We need a super gory IP at the event, and Terrifier 100% fits the bill. Now, let's move on to our last two, and these last two are going to be originals. Now, at tent number 2, one of our original 2 sprung tents, this one is a little robot or astronaut. I'm not entirely sure exactly what this is supposed to be. There are a couple ideas, whether this just be a toy themed original house. Personally, I think we may be going to pull from last year's Slaughter Cinema of a couple things that were relatively popular, one of which being Zyborgs. We could possibly see the Zyborgs coming in a full-length house this year, but this could also be, if this is like a spaceman, could be something related to like a deep space original. I know we haven't been to space a lot in Horror Nights history. I know we had Interterrestrial was a house from way back in the day, but nothing really comes to mind right off the bat of a house themed to space. So I would like to see something along the lines of that possibly come to the event, but if not, I'm here for Zyborgs as well. But now let's move on to our last one. And this also kind of goes along with the possibility of something from Slaughter Cinema 2 coming to the event. At tent number 1, we have this logo that's like this angry eye with an eye patch, and then we see a chain going across the bottom. And what could that mean? Yeah, it could mean Hatchet and Chains from Slaughter Cinema 2, one of many people's favorites from that house and one of my personal favorites from that house. I loved Hatchet and Chains. I love that entire section of that house. I love the interactions that I had with Hatchet and Chains in that section, and I would love to have them come back and, you know, wrangle up some mutants, wrangle up some ghosts. I would love to see a full fleshed out story for them, because I want more backstory of Hatchet and Chains. I want more crime fighting adventures from them. If we don't get a Hatchet and Chains thing, I would like to at least see some sort of Wild West original, because I believe the last time we had something Wild West themed was at HHN 26 in 2016 for the Curse of Lightning Gulch. So I think it's been enough time where we can dive back into spaghetti westerns as far as horror goes, and I do think that Hatchet and Chains would make the most sense here. But like I said, Wild West horror in general would be good for this spot. Now, as always, we'll break down what we have for scare zones. It's nothing, but we do have, once again, one show that is being rumored, as well as a second show that is currently unknown. We'll talk about that in a second. But the show that we as of right now have a rumor for, of course, is going to be that little flame that we always get, which normally means Nightmare Fuel. Nightmare Fuel, as far as I know, this is the last year on their original contract. Back when they were signed, I believe in 30, in HHN 30 in 2021. So I believe this is the last year on their original contract. Whether they signed a new one and will continue to be here, I don't know. But the Fuel Girls will more than likely be returning for this year's event. But let's talk about that second show. It looks like it's an entrance at the Lagoon, so we always had this. I mean, ever since the Marathon of Mayhem and the Carnage Factory, and I can't remember what the most recent one that we had that got shut down after 2 weeks from the hurricane. Could we possibly see the Marathon of Mayhem return? I sure hope so, honestly. We really need a second show at the event, and Marathon of Mayhem was really good. So I hope we get a second show. As of right now, though, like I said, this is listed as unknown in that location, so we don't have a lot of information, but fingers crossed that that does stick around for the foreseeable future on the next speculation maps coming up. But that is going to be it for this speculation video. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's been a long time coming for more speculation. I know you guys have been pleading for it, so thank you for sticking with me. If you did enjoy, though, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below, looking at this entire speculation map, what are your thoughts? What did you think? Does it differ from what I was thinking about some of these things? I'd like to know down in the comments below. But as always, I'm Michael from Hollow Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.